Hey, stop scrolling because Apple finally snapped. The iPhone 18 Pro just leaked, and it looks like somebody at Apple got bored, flipped the CAD drawings upside down, and said, "Fine, let's actually change something this year." And yes, before you roll your eyes, this is not another glow up rectangle with one extra filter preset and a slightly different shade of metal. This one has a stealth redesign, a camera overhaul big enough to make photographers sweat, Apple's own modem, and take a deep breath, actual 5G from satellites orbiting the planet. This might be the first time in years where the word Pro isn't just a sticker. Let's break it open. Picture September, and instead of Apple dropping 6 phones like they're trying to repopulate the iPhone species, they just roll out 2. Not a family reunion, just a refined lineup. The new Fold, Apple's first one, and today's troublemaker, the iPhone 18 Pro. And here's the curveball. The Pro is the cheaper one. Meanwhile, the Fold is priced like a lightly used Honda Civic with low mileage, heated seats, and an owner who only drove it to Whole Foods on weekends. But visually, if you squint, the iPhone 18 Pro looks familiar. Think 17 Pro, but dipped in Burgundy-adjacent, brown that's trying so hard to pretend it isn't brown. Apple's color team is clearly beefing internally and choosing violence, but that's camouflage because the real fireworks are happening up front. Dynamic Island, you remember, the genius software distraction that turned a cutout into a feature Apple could pretend they invented on purpose. Yeah, Apple's finally cleaning the glass. Face ID is gone from the surface, not removed, just moved under the display, like it packed its bags and relocated to another dimension. The only thing left up top is a tiny camera hole awkwardly chilling off to the left, like it's late for a meeting. Dynamic Island isn't dead, it's now basically Apple lore, but it shrinks. Same animations, same vibes, fewer holes in your screen. It's the kind of upgrade only other nerds notice, which is perfect because we are absolutely those nerds. And while everyone else, Samsung, Google, pick your team, is betting the future on foldables with creases that crunch like Pringles under pressure, Apple's response is basically, what if we just make the regular phone so slick and invisible that folding suddenly feels unnecessary? No hinge, no seam, just less phone in your phone. And this is where the Fold versus Pro narrative gets weird. Apple's counterpunch is simple. Remove everything from the front until the classic phone feels as futuristic as a foldable, proving that sometimes elegance beats gimmicks. Now colors. 3 new ones. Burgundy that swears it's brown, and purple that thinks it's special. If Apple launched gray, slightly warmer gray, and gray but sad, people would still pre-order. Now buckle in of cameras, because this is where things go from interesting to existential. Apple is testing a variable aperture camera system, not artificial blur, not computational trickery that hopes it doesn't crop out your friend's ear. Real lens physics, wide open in the dark, stop down in bright light, just like your eyeballs. This could be the biggest leap since Apple added a second lens and collectively convinced the world portrait mode was magic. But here's the menu of heartbreak ahead. 1, it might only ship on the 18 Pro Max because Apple loves upselling like Starbucks in the morning. 2, they tested it last year and bailed. So yes, Apple might wake up conservative and cancel again. Set your hype responsibly. Speaking of changes, that mysterious camera launch button on the side, it's evolving. Right now it supports touch gestures and pressure sensitivity, which sounds futuristic but feels like trying to unlock your camera while juggling butter. So Apple's keeping pressure, killing touch, simpler, cheaper, and way easier to fix when your phone meets the pavement and you pretend it didn't. Under the hood, we're getting predictable excellence, the new A20 Pro chip on a 2-nanometer process, faster, cooler, better battery. Basically, Apple's annual pledge of more go-go juice is alive and well. But here's where things stop being predictable. Qualcomm, Gone. Yep, Apple finally broke up with them. This year we get Apple's own C2 modem. And this is huge, not just in a nerdy way. In a real world, your phone actually works when you need it way, because building their own modem doesn't just mean faster speeds on the lock screen, it unlocks end-to-end control, fewer dropped calls in cities, smoother signal handoff on trains, maybe cheaper international roaming down the line because Apple's not licensing the guts anymore. This is the same playbook as Apple Silicon in Macs. First, it's a spec bump, then it quietly redefines the entire industry. If Qualcomm felt a disturbance in the force, they should. And now the final boss feature, real satellite internet. Not the iPhone 14 emergency SOS breadcrumb texting if you're lost in Oregon light version. I'm talking ongoing cellular data from space. Imagine you go hiking, lose your bars, and instead of your phone panicking, it just connects to something floating 400 miles overhead. Like, that's normal. If Apple nails this, the iPhone stops being a product and quietly becomes infrastructure. Less new phone launch, more welcome to the future of global connectivity. This is the first domino in a world where cell towers matter less, carriers lose leverage, and coverage becomes a bad memory. It'll take years, maybe decades, before it's everywhere. Tim Cook may be retired on a yacht before it's standard, but the starting pistol fires with the 18 Pro. So here's the 2026 scorecard: cleaner screen, new silicon, camera physics instead of camera marketing, Apple-owned modem, and literal space internet, plus a Burgundy that Apple swears is new, even though last year's Burgundy would like a word. Is it revolutionary today? Not quite, but it is directional. Ultei and Apple rarely redirects the ship unless the destination matters. So yeah, Fold fans, don't freak out, but Apple quietly made the non-foldable the more interesting phone this year. Now I want to know, are you waiting for the Fold, switching to the 18 Pro, or clutching your 14 Pro Max while insisting the battery isn't crying? Tell me below. See you next one. Peace out.